Hello and welcome to another Help Me Place update video. Today I'll be going through the new changes with version 3.0. I'll just list off some of them now and we'll be going through each one in detail right after. So we've got the re-enable hotkey, we've got the fence tool, the group colors, visualizer, the group hotkeys, the event hooks, lineups, quality of life changes such as scale refreshing, internal changes and refactoring, and documentation changes. So the re-enable hotkey is exactly as it sounds. Once you've enabled Help Me Place at least once in the scene, you can then turn it back on with the keypad 5 button. This is especially useful if you're used to working in the full screen mode. So I'll turn Help Me Place back on using 5, off using escape, back on again using 5. To get into the full screen mode, by the way, just hold shift and press spacebar. That work for anything that you have focused. So hierarchy view, game view, etc. Next up is the fence tool. This is something that a lot of people have been asking for. So if I open up my fence group here, I'll just show you a few of these examples and then I'll get into how it works. So you can place fences, spread them out a bit. It'll of course align to whatever surface it's on. It'll go up and over things, and you can increase and decrease gap very easily. Works for a bunch of different types of fences, and I'll just show you how it works maybe over here. So with your fence, or this works with anything, not just fences. So with your fence selected, hold down the C button and drag your mouse. If you want to cancel, bring it down to where it's just one and it'll go red. If you want to place one fence, obviously you just press the spacebar, but using C, hold it down, drag it out to the desired length and release, and it will place the fences for you. So if you want to increase the gap, click. If you want to increase the gap a bit faster, hold shift and click. Right click will decrease the gap, left click will increase the gap. Releasing C will place the fence. Like I said, works with any type of fence. You gotta be careful that you're forward when you're setting up your fences. I've got one here that's doesn't have the correct forward. So the fence tool will rotate by 90 degrees of the forward. So I said earlier it will work with anything. So let's go over here and let's get rid of all of these using undo. And let's go into our houses, for example. You can line it up like that and then drag it out. And there you go. More. Two more on the corner here. There you go. It was a very requested piece, so very happy to get it in for this update. Next, I'll just show you the group colors that we have added. Help Me Place, and the applications of this will show later on when we're using the visualizer especially. But over here you can choose any color that you want to represent your groups. You'll see here I've quite a few groups, so it's gotten a wee bit hard sometimes to find the one I want. But there's a couple of things that we've done this update to make that a lot easier, such as the hotkeys and the visualizers and the colors. So you can choose any color, and then when you go into the tool, you'll see the color is this bar underneath. Some of them are kind of hard to see based on what kind of scene view you're in, or what the background is, but you can see it's just a small little visual cue so you know what kind of group you're in. Can be very handy. Pink ones, the orange ones, you see it across underneath the bar at the top there. Yellow, blue, white. Next, I'll show you the visualizer. So down here underneath the prefab groups, you'll notice this new section called prefab group visualization. And this is very, very handy for seeing the density of your prefabs, how much areas might need a bit more or less detail in some parts. It'll allow you to identify quite easily where things are. So I'll just enable here with spheres. You'll see now the pink group colored here. You'll see where they've been placed. So a lot of palm trees are in that group, stuff like that. So I like using wireframe for this, by the way, but it'll work in anything. Just wireframe is quite easy to see. You can also, if you don't like the spheres, you can choose wire spheres, for example, and you can also increase the radius, the size of these guys, so that they're easier to see. So let's go for 2 here. Also have cubes, whatever you want, really. And wire cubes. So you'll see quite a few palm trees around the outsides here, but not many in the middle. So maybe we'll increase the density in certain places, like here, for example. There's also skyline. You can draw lines up from the sky, that kind of crack. So you'll wear some interesting pieces, for example, maybe you didn't, I mean, a lot of use cases for this. So next I'd like to talk about the group hotkeys, another very requested feature, very useful, especially if you have a lot of prefab groups like I do here. So we've got a hotkey bind here, new property. I recommend using the keypads, keypad numbers 0 to 9 here. They work out quite well for it. So I've got all my fences under keypad 8. If I scroll down, some of my buildings here are under keypad 2. I know I've got my military stuff under keypad 1, and you just kind of remember them over time, you know. So if I go ahead now in and press, like, you'll notice these are not in order. So if I re-enable using 5 hotkey and then go to 8, this is my fence group again. Not the one again. If I go to 2, I've got my houses. Back to 8, and 1 for the military stuff instead. The next example I'd like to show you is more of a technical one. It is event hooks. So in the configuration section here, underneath event hooks section, which is closed by default, so you can't see it, just open that section out. You'll see there's a bunch of events here, prefab placement started, finished, errors, HMP system activated, deactivated, all of that kind of stuff. You can actually add your own functionality into these. So very handy for things like maybe scattering things around after they're placed, or just anything really to do with it. Just inject your own code or your own game object, logic, whatever you want to do. There's been a lot of quality of life changes. One of them I'd like to talk about just after is the lineups. There's also a prefab group utility here, which allows you to split groups if there's too many prefabs in a group. You can type the name in here and give it a number per group, and it will divide them out. Some people that were using the prefab group from folder feature were finding that all of their prefabs from certain folders would all go into one group, and it was kind of difficult to split them out. So this will help you with that. So for example, the grass one here is way too many prefabs really to be useful. So we're going to type that in here. We're going to hit divide group, and you'll notice here now we've got grass 0, grass 1, grass 2, and grass 3, all in their own separate groups. And it has also copied the keybind and the rotation and scale, all of that kind of stuff gets copied. Quite a few refactors and performance changes as well, so I won't get into most of those, but just quality of life things were added and changed, and just from using it myself, I've added and changed a few things internally to make it work a bit better. There shouldn't be breaking changes in this update, but in some cases it does change the usability to make it a little bit easier to use. Everything obviously is still very customizable. You can change things back if you don't like them. For example, one of the things that you can do with Help Me Place is to change the sync amount, and that's very useful for if you've brought in some prefabs from an outside source and they're hovering off the ground or their origin is incorrect. You can hold Alt. It used to be controlled, but if you can hold Alt and change where their baseline is to bring them up out of the ground or sink them down. Very, very handy for rocks and stuff like that if you're ever placing any details. And it will save it. So if I sink this all the way down into the ground by holding Alt and pulling the mouse, and then go to a different one and then come back, it will always have that sync amount set in Help Me Place. Another quality of life thing that we added was when you hold Alt, it'll now shoot a ray every now and again out of the front or the forward of the prefab. Very, very useful, especially with the fences, just to show you which side is forward or which side is the front of it. Holding Alt will do that every now and again. You'll also notice the documentation is now in a PDF format, and we have pretty much everything documented there clearly. If you have any questions with that, of course you can hit me up. The contact details are at the top here. I'm available almost all the time. So another feature I'd like to show you is the lineup prefabs per group feature. So this will allow you to make quick updates to any prefab you like. So it will line them up with their colors, and you can see this one here is a little bit messed up, so you can just go in here and change it to whatever it needs to be in order to fix it. I guess it really should have been an import file adjustment, but you get the idea. You just go in and override your prefab there if you want, and it gives you a nice output of the names of the items as well. So this can be used in any scene. It can be used in your current scene that you're working on, for example, and what it does is it will place this game object in your scene, and it will output all of your groups and each prefab within it. It will also write the name of the prefab underneath and give it the same color that you've assigned it. So very handy feature. To remove it from your scene, you'll need to delete it there, or delete the created parent, and also the clear gizmo text here, so that the disappears. I haven't really figured out a way to cleanly get rid of that alongside lineup, but maybe in a future video. And that's pretty much it for this update. This is version 3 now. Very happy with how it's going. I use it pretty much every day myself in my own projects, and your feedback and critique is greatly appreciated. It's come a long way recently, and delighted with the improvements in this. Hope you enjoy using it. Thank you very, very much for trying it out, and I'll see you hopefully soon.